everyone, and welcome to the Indie Creative Comics Podcast, where we are all about independent comics. I'm one of your hosts, Angel, with John Pepe.
How's it going, Angel?
Dude, it feels weird. Like really weird. It's not 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We're actually doing something new.
I
It's
know, I know. My
6
favorite
p.m.
my
What?
favorite indie comic review show on YouTube is live right now.
That's insane.
That's us.
Uh, yeah, it's 6 p.m. on the East Coast of the wonderful United States of America, and we're still awake. And want to bring you some news, some reviews of indie small press stuff. So we're excited to be here today. Um, yeah, I think we have a couple of books to review this week, which is pretty cool. I think one we did together, and then you have one. The second book that you picked, I was gonna pick it up, but I already saw the movies. I
Okay,
saw
gotcha.
one
Okay.
and two, so I think it was like a prelude to that or preview to that. And I was
Right,
just
right.
like, I can't do it. I can't do another one where it's like beforehand, kind of thing. So yeah,
I see what
and
you're
then
saying.
it's all good.
Well, I
Um,
I think it's interesting how so this is we're live right now. It's April 6th, Monday.
yep.
Yesterday was Easter, and then of course Passover was last week as well. So happy holidays to all who celebrate whatever. But I think it's interesting. The two books that we're talking about today are both comic resurrection stories because these are, yeah, like you said, this is a prequel to a movie that actually was based on a comic. So now
Mm-hmm.
it's back in comics. And
Mm-hmm.
then the other one that I think that we both read, the one shot, is a return after about 30 of a 30-year-old comic. So
Yes.
comics love
Yes.
resurrections, whether they be Superman dying and coming back again, or anybody dying and coming back again, or old books coming back again. So that's
Yep.
kind of, I like the theme this week. It's good.
I do too. It's good. So, but before we get to the reviews, just a couple of quick announcements. 2 weeks, right? 3 weeks from Saturday,
Uh,
Free Comic Book Day.
it's Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
May 2nd. So the first
definitely less than a
Saturday.
month away.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we're so close. Yeah, we're about 2, 3 weeks away from Free Comic Book Day. First Saturday of May every single year. It's exciting, I think, up to the point. Then we get to that day. And if you've ever been to a Free Comic Book Day event at a local comic shop, it's cool. You get to hang out with a whole bunch of people that enjoy comics. You get to hang out with people who've never even been to a comic shop. So we got a lot of new traffic coming in and stuff like that, which is awesome. But depending on your comic shop, you could be there for 8 hours. You could be there for 12 hours. You could be there for 14 hours. And for the most part, I think we're there for about 10 hours or
Mm.
so because we get there about 10 o'clock in the morning, open up, and dude, at the end of that day, it feels like I've run a marathon. It's such a long day, but it's such a rewarding day as well. And it goes by really quickly, especially when the pizza comes. Oh my God.
It's almost the comic shop equivalent, or the comic retail equivalent to Black Friday at, say, like a Walmart or a Target. I mean, maybe not like people breaking down the doors, but a little close. But it's a day of heavy interaction, heavy engagement, lot of people, a lot of movie pieces, a lot
Yep.
of
Yep.
just a lot. Your attention has to be everywhere, and it's really fun because it really feels like a solid day. I love it.
Yeah, it does. And I'm looking forward to it. I missed it last year, unfortunately, just because something came up. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to being there this year and seeing all the people and uh, getting Batman back in the building because I think he wasn't there last year either, right?
Yeah, yeah. There was some housing. There was I think he had a plumbing issue. I think last year, and
Yeah.
he was actually in like a hotel that the weeks surrounding Free Comic Book Day. So there was no way he was getting to his gear and getting out, and he had a lot of other stuff to deal with. But like a good Batman, he's back and it's going to be better than ever. There's no doubt.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. So this is the poster that we use at the comic shop that we're at. So if you're around, if you're in Jersey, around the Fairlawn area, and you're around Free Comic Book Day, you should definitely come on by. John and I will definitely be there. If you're not in the area, definitely call your comic shop or when you visit them on Wednesday, just find out if they're participating as well. And then, yeah, go hang out. And one of the things that I like to see is when either the little kids or some of the grown-ups come in and they come in costume. It's almost like a mini Comic Con and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of titles this year. So I think there's, over 20 titles or something like that they have going on between the free comic book day and free comics giveaway. I can't remember that damn freaking title.
Whatever
I
they
just
want to
can't believe
call
they
it.
split it
Yeah.
up in two. It's just crazy ridiculous. But whatever it is. Yeah, so Lunar, PRH, all participating with whoever they distribute. There should be a bunch of books there. So we're really looking forward to that. So May
Yeah.
2nd, yeah, check out your local comic shops. They should
And it's real. The books started to arrive. We're starting to get the books at the shop, so that's exciting.
Oh, I know, dude. I
And
saw the listing come in, and I was like, God damn! There was already like I think 10 or 15 books on there.
Yep.
And I don't envy you because I remember those days of having to put
Man.
those books together. So
I know.
that's insane.
Thank
If you're just joining us, guys, listen. If you have questions and stuff like that, want to make comments. If you're on YouTube, yeah, feel free to write. I think John will read them off and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're sort of like in the news announcements. We're gonna get into the reviews of any comic books that we read for this week in a couple minutes. But just really quickly, I don't know if you heard. So Image right now has been exclusive to Lunar up to this point, right? Because you have PRH with Marvel. Image has been mostly on, or just primarily with Lunar. It looks like they may be shifting a lot of their stuff. Not a lot, but they may be shifting over to Universal as well. That's the
Okay.
latest rumor. So they may not be exclusive through Lunar entirely, but they may be shifting over to Universal. Now, for those of you
Okay.
that don't know, after Diamond kind of went away, your main two distributors that we've had for most comic books are Lunar and PRH, which is Penguin Random House. They have Marvel. Lunar has DC, the two big ones. Image has been over with Lunar as well, and then a bunch of the other small press and studios have gone to either or. I think IDW is with PRH. Dark Horse is also with them as well. So you got these major two players, and Universal's distributor over in Canada, and they picked up the rights for distribution, or carried over the rights for Diamond. I think they have a bunch of places actually in the U.S. of distribution centers that
You know,
they ship from.
that's something I was thinking because Diamond had the Plattsburgh distribution. That
Right.
was right in upstate New York, right across
And
Champlain
then
River
Mount
from
Olive or
Vermont,
something like that.
and Mount Olive. And I think didn't Plattsburgh actually go away before and it was all coming out of Mount Olive at the end there. I think
Yes.
they actually
Yes.
liquidated that one really large distribution hub. So I wonder whatever became of that building. So I guess that wasn't part of the Universal deal if that was already gone. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
very interesting where these are going to be coming out of. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, so it looks like Image may be shifting some of their stuff over, or Universal will have an opportunity to distribute Image Comics as well. I know there's a bunch already on there. I think even Zenoscope is through Universal now as well. So I went on the site. It's not the easiest thing to navigate through, but if you drill down far enough, you can see the FOCs and stuff like that. So yeah, look out for that. So, and it's mostly for retailers who just have another outlet to be able to get their comics to you guys as well. The other thing I saw, remember that movie Ready Player One?
Yes,
So
yes.
it was a novel at first, and the novel made it into a movie, and now it looks like they're going to be making a graphic novel
Oh,
out of
interesting. Okay.
out of it. So yeah, I couldn't remember the creative team on it, but I like that movie. Every time I watch it, there's a new character that I see that I've not seen before. I mean, you see the obvious ones like Chucky, Batman, and
Yeah.
Iron Giant and stuff like that. Bunch of others, but every time I watch it, there's a new character that pops up
Huh.
on it, which I love. So it's going to be interesting. It's supposed to be just one full-on graphic novel, I think a hardcover. It's going to start in the U.S. and then from there it'll ship out, I think through Canada and then the rest of the world in 2027. But we're supposed to be seeing that, I think, in October of this year, which means
Okay.
it should be done if they're going to, or nearly done, and then they should be going to print soon to be able to get those out. So I think I'm going to have to get myself a copy of that. I'm not sure who is going to be distributed through. I was just reading on it. I didn't get that far enough, but yeah, I'm looking forward to see what's going on there.
Interesting. I
On
wonder
that.
what characters they'd be allowed to use visually, or if it's under fair use because it's adapting the novel. That's going to be interesting to see how it presents itself
Yeah,
versus the
yeah,
book.
it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll get either like Raiden or the Highlander in the book.
Okay.
Ah,
All right, we got so you forced the announcement.
you
We
see
were
that? You
talking
see
about
that?
yeah,
That little
that was good.
segue?
That was a very unsmooth segue, but it was great. Yeah, we were talking before the show. If you watch the show, and I hope you do, you probably know we have a recurring gag. We'd love to rip on each other about Highlander. Angel likes to rip on me because I think it's a very good movie, and Angel just likes to also rip on the movie because yes, the movie has its flaws. And for a while, it was like, oh, Angel, you got to watch this movie. You got to watch this movie. He did. He tried. It was tough, and I really, I feel for you there, Angel, because I guess I have it from the rose-colored view of youth. I still have that like nostalgia connection to that movie. So,
Yes.
for those who are in the New Jersey area, you probably know of the Chiller Theater Expo. If you don't, it's a great nostalgia themed pop culture convention. So you have your dealer's room, you have your like sort of indoor flea market, guys selling comics and toys and statues and things that they make themselves. It's really really cool dealer room that happens at Chiller, and then it's sort of a celebrity flea market. So they have a lot of guests. In fact, Robert Smigel and Triumph the Insult Comic Dog, they're going to be at Chiller this coming April at the end of the month. So it's April 24th to 26th in Parsippany, New Jersey, and they just announced that Christopher Lambert, Highlander himself, is going to be at the Chiller convention this coming April. So I know I'm a little excited. I think we floated the idea of at least one of us has to go and have him sign a French to English translation book. I was thinking maybe, I know, because the obvious is maybe have him sign the Highlander DVD, right? Or that making of Highlander book, right? Or, but he was also Tarzan. And I have a Tarzan book that I loved when I was a kid. I was like, wow, it'd be cool to have signed that.
Oh my God. Was that before or after Highlander? That had to be after, right?
No, Greystoke was first. Greystoke kind of got him. So famously, not only did he not speak English, we've talked about this before.
Yes.
But he phonetically learned how to play. How to speak the English language in Highlander, and before that in Greystoke, Legend of Tarzan. Also, famously, he is terribly nearsighted and can't wear contact lenses. So he's doing all the sword work and stuff pretty much legally blind, right? And just,
holy crap.
Again, like the phonetic learning of the language, he learned the steps so that there would be a problem. But when he was doing Tarzan, apparently, like one time he's doing the swinging through the trees or running through the trees, and he grabs what he thinks is a vine, and it was an actual snake. He didn't see it because he was blind, but then so that was 84. Highlander was 86, and then just I think 4 years later was the first Mortal Kombat. And he was Raiden in Mortal Kombat as well. Or the other thing is have him sign like a Mortal Kombat game.
That would probably be it. I mean, listen, I know I ragged on the Highlander and stuff like that. It wasn't part of my youth growing up because I never saw it. To be honest, I've attempted to watch that movie at least 30 times. I've managed to watch the movie once, like all the way through, just begrudgingly. Just because oh my God, dude. Do you know how many times I stopped it in that Madison Square Garden scene when that French guy was just unnecessarily doing all those backflips?
All the I know.
He had the but it's the cutting too. Just the editing was just. He has a sword in his hand. The sword when he backflips, there's no sword, and then all of a sudden it comes back.
There's literally like a weird cutaway where he's walking, and then it cuts to Christopher Lambert. Then it cuts back to the guy, and it's good 10, 15 seconds of just him flipping across the parking lot, and then cut, and he's walking again, and it's like. Why? It's like they paid this guy. This guy was contractually obligated by the flip. Like I have to have X amount of flip time on camera,
it was in his contract,
or I don't work. Yeah. But
and what was funny is like Christopher Lambert's like his romantic scenes were really aggressive.
He's
Did you
a
ever
little
notice
bit of
that?
a he's a bit of a creeper in that movie with the woman. There's a little
Just
stalkery.
not
Yeah,
like creep, but just like really intense, like
very
just
intense. Yeah.
like almost like Shake Baby kind of like intense. I was just like, yeah. I mean, the soundtrack was absolutely wonderful. Who was the guy to play Kurgan again?
Clancy Brown.
Dude, love him.
He's great. Yeah,
Love
yeah,
him.
yeah.
So
He's
yeah,
great.
it's just yeah. I mean, great concept. Whew.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, that definitely was something though that Lambert is known for, and I think he's a good actor who unfortunately didn't get a lot of good movies because subsequent Highlander movies were just very diminishing
Yes,
returns,
yes,
and
yes.
you see him really trying to polish these turds, right? Really trying his best. The other movie that I thought had a lot of potential that I think he's really good at, and it's not a property, it's an isolated sort of action movie, Fortress. I don't know if you remember that movie.
No, no.
That's a pretty cool movie, and again, that was like its own thing. I feel like again with Highlander, like it should have been the one movie. I think attempts to sort of sequelize it and franchise it really diluted I think what those of us who like that first movie find very special.
Yeah. Well, once you got to Mario Van Peebles, it was done. It was absolutely done. But listen, the concept was great. I'm hoping Henry Cavill does something with it. He'll be playing McLeod. I'm not sure who's going to be playing the Spaniard. Hopefully,
Russell Crowe.
is it really?
Yeah, it's like you have to have a Scotsman
Dude,
play the Spaniard
but
from
that's right. He
Egypt.
played a Spaniard before and he got away with it. So
Yeah,
I'll give Russell Crowe the pass. I
yeah.
could actually see that.
But
But when you have
you'll never have a Scotsman play the Highlander in a Highlander movie
no at all.
because Cavill I think is Welsh or from Jersey. He's a Jersey guy, but England Jersey. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but no, yeah. I mean, Sean Connery, no matter what role he played, it was the same accent no matter what. Maybe he gave it a little bit of a twang here and there, but yeah, no.
My favorite is
It was a Scottish Egyptian Spaniard.
But one of my favorite Connery roles is The Untouchables with Kevin Costner
Yes.
because he's playing an Irishman.
Yes.
But he does not he does not do an Irish brogue. It is the Sean Connery voice.
But you know what? I can almost see that because you can have an Irishman who grew up in Scotland.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, yeah, whatever.
Or it's just
I
Connery.
got it out
I
of
mean,
my system.
Yeah.
I got it out of my system. All right, yeah. So we were just talking about Chiller. So that's in a couple of weeks. If you're in New Jersey, Parsippany, New Jersey, I think the August 24th through the 27th.
April 24th, 25th, and 26th. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Sunday.
and literally the weekend before Free Comic Book Day. So,
Yeah.
so it's a really end of April, early May. That's a really good time, for nerd events and things like that. So,
Yep, for sure. All right. All right, good. That's all the news that we have for you this week. So we're going to shift into current reviews. We have 2 books for you this week. Dude, I really wanted to read. I have like 3 or 4 Kickstarter books that are sitting right here and I want to read them. So I think I'm going to get them ready for next week so that I can at least do one. Before we get into the reviews, though, I want to start with this thing right here. I was super, super pissed. So Megalith. It's a Bad Idea book. And I should have known something because the price was $1.99.
yeah, it's an ash can. It's a preview book. They did this with Planet Death too. Yeah,
but Planet Death was only Planet Death, right?
I believe. I think
Yeah.
you're. Oh, why is there? This is.
Yes,
It's a
you have
flip book
3. So
again.
you have I think
3.
three. So you have Bad Habitat.
There's
I
like
think
5
is
pages
also
in that thing.
I don't know, man. It's number one, it's on newsprint.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the reason why you can get it at $1.99 because you're going to be able to get 10,000 at like 25 cents a piece and stuff like that and get it out there and still make money off of it. So you had Megalith, which is on the cover, The Hab, which I read the preview before already. That one seems interesting, and then Oddballs Odyssey off of this one. And I was really looking forward to the Megalith because it's written by Matt Kinn, I believe. So it's not supposed to come out. It's not supposed to come out until I think May, so next month. Yeah, it's written by Matt Kinn. And so the last thing I read of his from Bad Idea was the ENIAC book, which was one of their initial launch books because that was way back. I mean, they're looking at what 4 years now, maybe
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago. Off of that, and I've always liked them even when he did the co-writing for Berserker. I know people say Ninja K, but Ninjak. I read that whole series as well. Yeah, he had a bunch of stuff and the X-Men Man of War stuff and stuff like that. So I was really looking forward to it. It gives you 5 pages. You get sort of like a summary of what the book's going to be at in the very beginning. It was really cool to like hold newsprint again because it's not shiny like the new stuff now. It looks really almost painted. It almost looks like Lee Bermejo
Hmm.
drawing it, but it's not him at all. It has sort of like that painterly style that he uses. But basically, you have sort of what they call a megalith landing on Earth, and it transforms into this big sort of like organic robot. I'm assuming. And then you have this cop that's going to be mixed into the whole thing, and then they have to try to find a way to get from inside of it up to its brain and kind of destroy it. So you get sort of like a sneak peek. But I was really looking forward to just sitting down, having a cup of coffee, reading through the first issue, and it was just a freaking ash can. And I said it in the title, and I completely missed it. But May's when the book comes out. So you might want to check that out, guys. If you want to pick up the Ash Can, there's 3 good stories in there. The Hab is another one that looks pretty cool. So I might check that one out as well. But yeah, pissed was what I was when I picked it up and only got 5 pages of the stuff. All right, why don't you start us off with the book that I didn't read, and then we can go
Yes.
from there.
But this is good because you said you have seen the movies
I did, and
from.
it was a while ago. I mean, and the movies have come out, I think, maybe over a year, two
Okay,
years now.
gotcha. Yeah,
So it's been a while.
two of them, right?
Two of them. Yep.
Two of them, yeah. So, yeah. So as you can see there, this is from Ignition Press. It is Tyler Rake, an extraction story. That's the main cover by Declan Shalvey. I opted for this variant cover. This one is I
Oh,
kind
that's
of
pretty
like.
cool.
Yeah, I kind of like the just like the line work and the way the depth of the colors and everything. I just thought it was really cool.
Do you know who the artist is on that?
Marco Santucci.
Hmm.
And for those keeping at home, score at home, this specific copy has a serial number of 1603. So
This is Ignition Press. Yeah.
Ignition Press,
God damn you
they
guys.
always have this little stamped, and every copy has a different number. It's really wild. Yeah, just to really get into the credits first on this, it's written by Andy Parks, illustrated by Ronan Cliquet, colored by Rhonda Pattison, lettered by And World Design, and it is edited by Jamie S. Rich, assistant edited by Nora Ornstein, book design and logo by Scott Newman. And so Tyler Rake and Extraction, created by Joe and Anthony Russo and Andy Parks. So yeah, as we mentioned before, Extraction are a couple movies starring Chris Hemsworth,
Yep.
who is no stranger to comic book live action comic book adaptations. I think he's most famous for Men in Black, being in a Men in Black movie, which also started life as a comic. And then he's some guy with a hammer in some other comic movies too.
Yes.
And
Okay.
so,
Before you continue, because I have to get this off my chest. So I just saw Crime 101, which starred Chris Hemsworth.
I want to see that, but there's 100 other movies before that that I think you have to see, right?
No, shut up.
Okay.
Halle Berry and Mark Ruffalo. So concept really good.
Yeah.
If you've not seen it, go blah 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 blah. Not to spoil something. Really, it was really good. I enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it. I think for me, when you have multiple storylines or characters that are in the movie that have an alternate storyline but overall work in the arc of the entire movie, awesome.
Mhm.
When they don't tie up the loose ends of those arcs, it drives me fucking insane.
Interesting. Okay.
So the whole interaction between him, Mark Ruffalo, Halle Berry, awesome. They closed off all of that. Nick Nolte is also in the movie. His story doesn't get an ending, which pisses me off. So the movie itself was pretty good. There's interaction with Nick Nolte in a time that they had, but they never finished off that part of the story arc. So it didn't leave it like if they left that open for Crime 101 2 or point 2, then that would be cool. But I know there's not another movie coming along. I just don't know what happened to that character. And that character really influenced what happened at the end of that movie.
Interesting. Huh.
So there's no closure between Chris Hemsworth and Nick Nolte, especially what he fucking did to him. So yeah, I had to get that off my chest. So Chris, if you have any input whatsoever, bro, just let us know. Even if you just write and say what happened, I'm okay with that. I just can't. I'm like it bothered my brain so much after the movie because I'm such a completionist. Even if the movie ends opened and it's open to your interpretation, that's cool. But when there's no acknowledgement at all, that storyline just went awry and never came back full circle. That
Interesting.
bothers the
Interesting.
shit out of
Yeah.
me.
Huh.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
Now,
Continue.
it's all right. Now, so that actually brings a question I did have. So, from what I know about Crime 101, because what we know for Chris Hemsworth, I mean, obviously, yes, everyone knows he's Thor and everybody loves his
Yep.
Thor and,
Yep. Yep.
very likable character, right? But in Crime 101, he's not very much a heroic character. I think he's the lead, but he's a little off. He's a little unsavory, from what I understand from that.
Correct. And you find out why. I don't want to ruin it for anybody who watched it, but yes.
So now he plays Tyler Rake in the Extraction movies. Is he a likable character in those movies as well? Because
he's a soldier guy.
He's a soldier guy. Because in this comic, I mean, he's a rakish guy, man. He is a very unlikable guy. And this is a prequel to those movies. And those movies were based on a graphic novel, again, written by Andy Parks, but created and conceived with Andy Parks by Joe and Anthony Russo, again, of the Avengers movies fame. And that graphic novel was called Ciudad. And that is now going to get a re-release. It is retitled as Extraction. Jamie Rich, publisher extraordinaire, editor-in-chief of Ignition, has a whole little back matter mission control piece that he puts in every month in the Ignition Press stuff, detailing the publishing history and what's going on with this, with Tyler Rake coming back to comics in this prequel. And in this prequel, you actually find him as a nightclub manager in, I believe, Sao Paulo, Brazil. And, and he's a security manager. He's head of security of this very popular nightclub, but he and his partner Pudge rule with a very iron fist, almost very brutal. And he is fully immersed sort of in this nightclub lifestyle. So
wait, is this Roadhouse?
It's a little Roadhouse, but it's a lot grimier and a lot dirtier. So basically, the opening scene is him and Pudge are taking care of a guy who was a problem because he was dealing drugs in the club without telling them. Not that Tyler Rake is against drugs, because you see him, the next morning with two girls in the bed and doing his own drugs, and so it's nice. sort of like he is very much in that lifestyle. And then so he is given an opportunity to use his skills because he is an ex-soldier, and this is where you get his backstory. This person from this agency gives him this offer and basically gives you the whole history, his whole history, his whole past, how he was a soldier, came back to America after being missing for a couple of years, but with a pregnant wife, and then he kind of disappears again and does all this other kind of oddball mercenary work. And now he's in Sao Paulo, Brazil, head of security. No mention as far as what has happened to the wife and kids. So I'm kind of wondering if this is stuff that actually plays out in either the Ciudad / Extraction graphic novel, or if this is something that it pays off in the movies, because again, this is a prequel. So
right.
Kind of seeing him before that. And so circumstances happen where, they kind of, the guy that they took out, they kind of messed with the son of the wrong dude that was selling the drugs in the club. And so the club basically gets destroyed, and Tyler and Pudge have no choice but to sort of accept this offer from this agency. And that's sort of where you go on this story. Now you're going to kind of follow him and Pudge on this mission, and whether this is like a direct link to the first published Extraction story, I don't know, or if there's going to be other miniseries along the way after this. But It was a very interesting start. It is very much a high octane, high paced action movie. So the artwork is very clean and conveys that really well. Just to give you a nice example, I mean, here's a nice little splash page. Tyler, fighting off the assault on the club, guns a-blazing.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
pretty cool.
it's classic little blam blam and brap brap sound effects, but the
Yeah.
art's very clean, even in the just the sort of discussion, when it's just a couple characters talking,
Right.
it's still very dynamic. It moves your eye across the page. It doesn't feel flat at all. So I thought this was really interesting. I thought it was really fun. I
Hmm.
think I'm going to check the movies out because I kind of like how unlikably likable he is, just kind of, how unsavory the hero is. Like Indiana Jones, I like a good hero who's kind of a maniac.
Right.
So I'm kind of into this. So yeah, and again, it's if you don't know anything about the character, it's a great introductory point.
Yep.
If you're already familiar with the character and the property, gives you a little bit of background and another adventure that you didn't know existed before the movies that you watched. So
Cool.
Tyler Rake, an Extraction Story, give it a shot. Ignition.
Yeah, I almost picked it up, and I was just like, I kind of remember the movies and kind of remember what happens to the family and stuff like that. And the only reason why it's tough to read prequel books is
Mhm.
because there's no stakes involved, because
Yeah,
you know they're going to survive because you've seen them later on.
right.
It'd be interesting to see if, because I don't remember the character Pug if he was in the movies and stuff like that. So if he wasn't, then maybe there's stakes there where he gets killed off or
Mhm.
something. Something needs to happen in order for
Yeah.
it to be really dramatic and drastic. And that's the one reason, especially with the main character, you just
Mhm.
know no matter how beat up they get, no matter what happens to them, they've survived because you've seen them in
Yeah.
later issues and later stories. So
I think I
that,
think I think some of it has to do, if you do the character arc really well or the surrounding situations really well, and you see a growth in the character. So I think Andor is a great example because when they announced Andor, I said, "What's the point? We
mm,
know how this guy's story ends, right?"
mm,
And that was done so well, and to see his character growth go from who he is at the beginning of the show to match who he is when you see him in Rogue One. I think
right.
that's worth the journey as well. And I get a real sense of this. I get a sense that that this unsavory guy that I'm reading about now is probably a little different by the time you get to the movies or the first graphic novel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you also got him as unsavory already. So I'm pretty sure there could be a prequel to the prequel of him, how he got to be so unsavory before he gets to move on.
Right.
So yeah, check it out, guys. If you've seen the movie, you might like the book. So Tyler Rake, An Extraction Story from Ignition Press. If you do read Ignition Press books and know what those numbers on the back of the book are, please let us know. What's your number on your book?
This one was 1603.
1603. If we're supposed to enter that in somewhere,
Yeah.
is it?
Did we win? Did we win money?
Yeah, it's so because it's not the number of the book, right?
No, no. It is each copy has an individual number.
That's so weird.
It is the weirdest thing, man, and it's stamped in there. Like you can feel it, like Daredevil can feel with just regular old print with his fingers. It is a stamped number on the
Yeah,
back of each book.
and that each book has to be printed individually that way, which
Well,
is
no, that's what it's
insane.
just so I think what happens is I think what it does is it rolls off the press and it's a
Let me
blank,
see.
right?
Oh,
And then it goes through another where it goes
gives the
number
numbers. Okay,
number.
so weird. There's got to do something,
It's
and
got
there's
to
no
do.
mention of it in any book.
No. It says go to the website, and you go to the website. There's nowhere to enter. I think you tried this too. There's nowhere to enter the number.
There's
So
nowhere, or just maybe we just can't find it because we're idiots. All right, cool. So yeah, check it out, guys. Tyler Rake, An Extraction Story from Ignition Press. All right, so next book. Okay, so where this was the prequel, this is a continuation of a story from, and I knew the title. I just
mhm.
never read the original series. So when I picked it up, I knew that it was already a series. I just couldn't remember how long ago the series was. Come to find out that the series actually started in 95, but the first appearance was somewhere in 92.
Mhm.
And then the series started and it was an Image. And Image collected it, I think, in 2006 is what Joe Pruitt said.
Something
All right,
yeah,
so
2004 was the Voices in My Head collection,
yes,
which reprinted the first appearance of Kilroy. And yeah, Kilroy hails back to the late Caliber comics, man, from the
yep,
90s. Yeah.
from the 90s, early 90s.
Yeah.
All right, so Kilroy, instead of was here, is here, written by Joe Pruitt, artist Dalibor Talajic, Colorist is Stefan Bartolik, and letters by Joe Martin. Before I get into the story, what I really, 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 really liked about this book, let me see if I can just bring it up on here, is just the fucking tone. Like,
Hmm.
just the tone of this book, like a lot of the way the black is used, the empty, the negative space, just the entire tone of this book, you just felt sort of like the dreariness of it, sort of like I don't know, just you felt the tension throughout the entire book, which was absolutely fantastic because all the shadows just made me seem like, holy shit, what's gonna pop out of there kind of thing. But for those of you that are familiar with Kilroy, this is the same character. For those of you that are not, this is a continuation of stuff that's come out over 20 something years ago.
Hmm.
And sometimes when I read books like that are continuing off a story that's already happened, I have a deep concern with how much of the lore you need to know in order for you to get the book. What was really great about this book is that they were having conversations about things that they had in the past, but it did not lead you astray from what was actually happening now. So the only thing that I got from that was it wasn't annoying that they were talking about things that happened in the past. It made it really relevant in regards to their relationship. So I knew that they already had a past, and the way that they were talking to each other kind of moved the story along actually faster for me because it wasn't like two strangers. And so basically, you have this character Kilroy who is cursed, I guess, to live forever, but always be late to an innocent person's death. So then he takes retribution on the person that's done the killing. So he gets to witness all these innocent people dying to only take retribution after they've died. So that's a special kind of torture because you're always seeing. I mean, if you've lived hundreds of years, how many freaking innocent people have died? And no matter what you do, you'll never get there in time, which sucks because the person that you're seeing is dead is not only dead, but they're also innocent. And your job is just to hunt down the killer and kill them. So basically, you have this guy that comes to him in the very beginning who's already killed a couple of people. Let me see if I can pull that up because that freaking scene is just awesome. Yeah, it's got them laying down on the ground, one on top of the other. And Kilroy's in there just, again saying that he's late, blah, blah, blah. And then he sees sort of like his name on the wall that says Kilroy was here. And that's what he used to do back in the day when he killed people that killed innocent people. So basically, what you do is you get to find out that he's talking to this guy that's all dressed in red. And what's freaking awesome, bro, I gotta show it again. I mean, you want to talk about tone and mood? Everything is like grayish blue, and then you have this guy in the blood just in this deep red, and even his jacket is like that blood red. Um, Really arrogant son of a bitch. They get to talking. Basically, what you find out is that he's an angel, and he's a twin of another angel. And so where Kilroy was, I believe previously, now this is going to make me want to go back actually and get that graphic novel and make sure that I read it from the very beginning to give more context to what's going on. So from what we understand or what I understand is that up to this point, he's been cursed to walk the earth forever, never to get there in time for innocent people to die, and then go ahead and kill the people that kill the innocent people. And so now this angel is coming in and basically saying that his twin, along with a couple of other hundred angels, have descended to Lucifer's side. And so they've sort of like disturbed this balance between heaven and hell and the angels and all of this stuff. And so now he's coming to Kilroy to ask him to restore balance. And at the same time, what he'll do is he'll remove his curse, which means he'll be able to save actually innocent people. But his job right now is to hunt down all of these other angels and banish them, kill them. And that's it in a nutshell. There's a lot of stuff that happens in between in this, but I think it's really cool that he's been tortured for so long, and then having an angel come who, I guess, he doesn't have a really good relationship with them because you find him in a church and the angel wanted to just kill him on the spot, kind of thing, because that's how he would beckon him. Um, and then now is presented with an opportunity to be able to lift the curse that he has, um, and restore balance to whatever the things. But it's crazy because there's a manipulation that's going on both ends, right? He's like, listen, the balance has been destroyed. I can lift your curse, and you can go ahead and do this job on end. That's what you have to do. And then at the very end, you get the twin Barbados that comes in and is giving the opposite side to his story and justifying why he did what he did and letting Kilroy know that he's on the bad side of things. So there's a little bit of a mind fuck that's going on in this book. And listen, I didn't read the original series, but Joe Pruitt, this is a really cool effing story. And the creative team that you put together just knocked it out of the park as far as tone, as far as bringing back a book that's over 20 something years old and having somebody who's never read it jump into it and inspiring them to go ahead and want to get the back issues or at least the trade so that you can go ahead and find out what happened in his previous life. Dude, spot on. Loved it.
Yes, yeah. I think, you made a great point there that, this, yes, this is the current one-shot story that is part of a larger work that hasn't seen print for the most part in about 20 years or so, 20, almost 30 years. But it has I think it introduces the character really well. It puts you in the world very, very solidly, so you don't necessarily feel lost walking into this world. And it has a sort of a status quo change for the character by the end of this one shot. So it almost reads like an origin as well in that respect. So I think that this is a really good example of how do you write a single issue story of an ongoing character that can be accessible and feel fresh and new for both someone picking it up for the first time and somebody who's been following this character from the beginning or for a while now. So I thought that was very successful in that respect as far as an introductory issue. I think that if people, if people like the John Constantine Hellblazer aesthetic, I think that this falls right into that slot really well. I think it very much reads like that type of genre, that sort of occult detective type thing with the sort of revenge angle. Again, like John Constantine, he's got a trench coat, but also like Highlander, he's got a trench coat and a really cool sword by the end of the comic.
Yes.
So I just thought this was a really, really neat, just one-off. And yeah, it made me kind of want to go back and check out, see if I could get that trade paperback of the previous Kilroy stuff as well. I opted for the Brian Bolland cover, which is actually the cover for the Kilroy Was Here Zero from about back in the mid 90s. I just love Brian Bolland's art, and I thought this was a really cool cover.
Yeah, hold on. Put that up again. I want to see it. I didn't see the Brian Bolland cover.
Yeah, and it's sort of like it's like a sketch art cover too, right? You can see the blue line stuff there.
Yeah.
And so I just great on you, Joe Pruitt, for being able to bring this back. As he says on his letter to the reader in the back, he wanted to test the waters to see if there was any new interest or any sustained interest for this character. So I hope this does lead to more. In the meantime, he's writing Viking Moon through Image, and he's also the editor of the Ninth Circle imprint, which does a lot of horror themed one shots. We've talked about a couple of them on this show as well. And what I thought was really interesting, though, is that that's his imprint, and it's specifically one shots and horror themed one shots, but his horror themed one shot that is his own creator, own character, is just straight Image. It's not through the Ninth Circle imprint. So I thought that was kind of an interesting move as well. So yeah, I hope this sparks some renewed interest or new interest in this character.
Yeah, I completely forgot that it was a one shot, which is now going to piss me off because I want to see where this story. I hope it does get picked up. I mean, there was definitely some interest in there, and I think the story where he was going with it could, give it a new chapter.
Well, he's got 199 more fallen angels to kill, so
yeah, at least. So you can do them 10 at a time, 15 at a time, whatever it is. So yeah, Joe Pruitt, if you hear us, we want a little bit more. Definitely want a little bit more. And until then, I'm actually going to go back and see if I can find a trade and read the beginning of the story. But dude, such a bad tease. I hate when something's this good and we're not going to get any more of it.
Well, that's where the reader comes in. If you as a reader want more of this, tell write letters to send an email, buy copies of the comic, tell people about the comic and have
Yeah,
them buy copies.
yeah,
It's only $3.99. Buy it for somebody you think, buy another copy for somebody you think might appreciate this. You got a Hellblazer fan and who currently has no Hellblazer comics to read, get them this and see how they and that way that's how we get more of this stuff, is if people respond to what's out there.
yeah. Yeah, that was a good crossover. That was a good analogy of it being Hellblazer and Highlander all in one shot. Less Highlander, more Hellblazer.
Definitely.
All right, yeah. So two cool books that came out this week, gang. So Tyler Rake, An Extraction Story from Ignition Press, and Kilroy is here. A one shot from the previous series that was over 20 something years ago. Really cool that they brought it back. Sucks that it's a one shot, but from Image Comics, yep. Get your hands on it and stuff like that. It'd be cool. Another quick reminder: a couple of weeks, you got free comic book day, so make sure you visit your comic book shop and make sure they're participating. If you are in the neighborhood in Fairlawn, New Jersey, definitely come check us out at the Joker's Child. John and I will be there all day. It's going to be a fun day. I know I'm going to be sore and screaming at the end of the day, but always look forward to it. So it'll be pretty cool. All for that. I think that's all we have for you, kiddies. All right, that's it for this week. So if you like what you heard, listen, 6 p.m. on Mondays, we're going to see if we keep it or move something around. I kind of like it because I'm more awake now, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, if you like what you hear, just subscribe to the podcast, invite other people to come along. If you want to be on the podcast, you're a creator, want to promote something that you got going on, visit www.indiecreatorcomics.com. Fill out the podcast forms, and I would love to have you on and talk all things comics. Social media at Indie Creator Comics. Everywhere you go, that's where we are. And last but not least, please, please, please support your local comic book shops, because without them, we would not be able to do what we love to do, and that is read comics week in and week out. John, where do you get your comics from?
Well, I get my comics at the Joker's Child in Fairlawn, New Jersey. And we've been talking a lot about Free Comic Book Day, which happens once a year for Saturday of May. And we're going to talk about it the next couple weeks as we ramp up for it. But lest we forget that every Wednesday is New Comic Book Day at the Joker's Child and your local comic shop. So that's right. Every week there's whole piles of new good comics and stuff waiting for you. So don't just wait for that one day a year where you could get some free comics. Every week is New Comic Day at Joker's Child and your local comic shop. So you better be there or you're going to miss out.
All right, there, kiddos. You heard it here first. So until next time, thank you for joining us on the Indie Creator Comics Podcast, where we are all about independent comics.